Hey guys! Welcome back to Let's Play Star Ocean 3. Last time we didn't complete the Ruddle and Rumina side quest, but we did the majority of it, and now we can actually meet them up here in Curlsaw. The reason I'm meeting you guys up here is because there's some additional dialogue here that I don't normally get to see because I think it's triggered after coming back from the training facility, but I don't really understand what they're getting at. Okay, yeah, that kind of makes sense, but Nell has this long bit of dialogue. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of how you would expect propaganda to work during wartime. We don't even know what Vox has done at this point. In fact, I can't even remember what he does at all. Witnesses. He planned. Someone want to explain this to me? Anyone who's played the game before? I'm not sure if she's referencing something that hasn't happened yet, and that dialogue's not supposed to be here yet, or if she's referencing something that we've already done, but in such a roundabout way that I don't know what's going on. Did I miss a cutscene somewhere? I don't know. Anyway, that's all. Okay, go out the door. Thank you. That's all that's going on there. Now, in order to finish up the, well, not finish up, but do the vast majority of the side quest, it basically ends the quest, and then we just have to wait around until later. They'll actually open a shop, and like the Retail Rabbit, it'll be one of the ultimate shops in the game. But for now, more cutscenes!
Ah, it's you! Thank you for helping us find our way to Curlsaw.
You don't have to thank me. I didn't do anything, really. But I'm glad you made it okay.
That's true.
You really helped us a lot, you know. Without your directions, we would have never made it here.
I don't know how you got from Arius to Ariglyph without coming through here.
Miss Rumina, that's not a very nice joke. It's almost like you're saying that getting lost was all my fault.
Well, it was, all of it. From start to finish, top to bottom, it was all your fault. Aren't you ever gonna realize that?
Anyway, with that being said, let's rotate the camera. We'll talk to this guy here. Not just pretending. Would you like to buy something? Well, not really. They've got symbols of courage, which you should have been able to pick up at least a couple of by now. Maybe I got one luckily. I guess you could buy another one if you wanted, but by the time we can do this, we can do item creation, and I'm going to get better accessories anyway, so I don't need to do that. The regeneration symbol is actually pretty useful. Boosts your MP in battle at set intervals. It basically just restores, I think it's 3%. Does it show me? No, it's not going to show me. Oh, there we go. Yeah, 3% recovery during battle. Yeah, hit triangle to view that type of, I don't know, that extra information, and square button to see the base parameters or the stats that it's going to give you. That's pretty much all they have. I wouldn't worry about anything else. You may kind of be tempted to buy one of these if you're running out of MP, but right now we really don't need our MP that much, and I'm not running out of Blackberry, so I don't see the need for it. The real treasure for now
Do you want it?
A bargain?
is actually with
That's
Rumina
right.
here.
In our travels, we saved a guy who had collapsed on the ground. He was from Greeton or someplace. He swiped... I mean, he gave it to us in appreciation for saving his life. Yeah, that's it. This is just between you and me, okay? You can have it for a mere 5,000 full. What do you say?
I think that's one of the few times they actually pronounce the currency of this game, which is how I got my interpretation of it, fall, full, something to that extent. Anyway, buy it even though it may be a ripoff. It's only 5,000, it really isn't that much. And for doing this...
Here you go. Thank you kindly, sir. This is it. The blueprint for a humanoid motorized machine. You know, there may be just one of these in the world. This here being that one. The only one, you know. Pretty rare, don't you think?
Yeah, also could be completely useless, but in fact, we actually know of a humanoid robot that exists in the world.
If you can make it just like it says here, it just might move. It'd be a perfect project for your summer vacation, don't you think?
Not particularly, but for that we get the blueprints, which are required to recruit, I think, the best engineer in the game, actually. So yeah, we'll need that for later. We also have to recruit other people before we can make use of that and reach a certain point in the game, but we haven't reached either of those points yet. Anyway, now we're at the stage of item creation. Now I'm going to try and be brief. I know my explanations of things in general tend to go long and way too long. So anyway, let's begin over here. There's two different item creation workshops. One is this room, and the other is this one here. I'm going to start over here because this one has the person that I want to do stuff with. Now, there may be a bunch of things I do off-screen here, but let's get the basics out of the way first so we kind of understand how this works. You can expand the facilities, basically that allows you to do that particular type of item creation. Synthesis we won't be doing for quite some time, so ignore that for now. Engineering, use the machinery materials in certain aspects. Writing, compounding, alchemy, cooking, it's pretty self-explanatory. You can also transfer your inventors from other cities, so you just go and you select this one and you can move her or anyone else over there. You have a maximum, as you can see, of 6 per individual workshop because they can't fit more than that many sprites in a room, I guess, or at least not in a small room. Anyway, if you go to invent, you have a number of lines here. In this particular one, all the lines are open. In some different facilities, you'll be able to expand lines, and you'll be able to open up multiples of these. How this works is you set a team that all have the same talent. So in the case of my characters, they have all the talents. No. In the case of an NPC, they only have a talent in one area, in this case, crafting. So what you would do is you'd put 3 people that can craft in this line, select the type, which is crafting, and I can't do that yet. Let's begin here. Can't remember. Crafting. Your crafting skill is decent, yours is not so decent, yours sucks, and yours is alright. So I'm going to put my 3 best people on there. Roger actually has a use in this game. Item creation. That's it. And we select crafting, and now we can do 2 different things here. We can do original plan, and what you do is you select this again with the X button, and it'll change the cost to the right there. Now, the cost is an indicator of what item you're going to make. Usually items have a range of values from, say, 100 to 150. It's usually not that simple, but it'll work. There are also other items that may overlap with the existing with the item that we're referring to there. So there may be another item that goes from, say, 75 to 125. So between 100 and 125, there will be an overlap. So you may be able to create one item, it may be a different item. So that's one of those there. When we begin, which you do with the square button, as you can notice in the top right there, you'll begin your lines. If we had enough people to do, actually I think I could probably just throw 2 of them on there and do it, but basically you can do that, and I could go smith with them and have them do something, and have both of them go at the same time. So I'm just going to go over this real quick here. If I start lines, okay. Basically what happens here is we have both of them trying to create something. Probably nothing that I want. As you do this, the cost is subtracted from your total full count, and as the lines there, the time, as soon as that reaches the end, you'll have a potential attempt at making that item. The different times are indicated, or the time bar is how long it takes to make the item. The quality bar, which you can't see, there we go, is the reason I keep pausing it is because I don't want to waste all my money. But the quality bar starts off at pretty much 100% and will drop down over time. Each attempt, regardless of its success or failure, will lower the quality meter, and how high your ability is will determine how fast that's going to go down, as well as your success in creating the item in general. Now, if you notice Fate's portrait on the left side, he kind of looks upset. Just watch his face, and then it goes back to normal. So that means that they failed. So I'm just going to cancel both of these because I don't care. In this case, you can cancel individual lines, or you can use the circle button that you can check in the top right there to abort everything. If you abort everything, even if you have a successful item creation attempt somewhere along that lines, you'll get rid of that item and you won't get it. If you use the X button to finish the line and request item submission, then you'll actually get however many items that you got from your attempts. So I didn't get anything from those. Now, when you do original creation, let's just get these two out of there because I don't need them there anymore. You have a chance at making a random item. It's not necessarily random. You need to know what the numbers mean, and doing that without a guide would be basically impossible. So I'm obviously using one, and I have every time I've played this game, including the first one, because I never would have figured this out without it. But specified plan is a little different. As you can see, it sends you into your inventory. And the other thing that it does is it gives you access to your crafting materials, if you'll notice the top middle there. Now, what this does, and I don't have any items that can actually do this yet, so I'm going to unequip something, and hopefully I have something that I can make use of. And I think one of those will work. And you just basically have to approach the area to begin the inventing process again. Let's see here. Does one of those work? No, they don't. Basically, can I look? No, it's not going to look. Okay, let's go into the menu. We'll do it this way, because the game doesn't like me. Alright, Charm of Insight, Warrior's Bangle. Now, the way this works is that little beige box there shows like a stat or something, some kind of a boost. It's not always positive, but for simplicity's sake, let's just call it a boost. And it doesn't have a number in parentheses after it. Though I don't think I have anything that does have that right now, which is kind of unfortunate because I would like to be able to show that off. I'll be able to get one eventually. Do I have a weapon that has that? No, I don't. No, unfortunately I don't. Okay. Basically, what will happen is after that stat, well, I might as well put it on screen to show it, but I'm rambling again. In that box, after the stat that's there, there will be a parentheses and then a number. 1, 2, or 3, I think is as far as it goes up. Basically, what those numbers refer to is that's what you can change with specified plan. And what it does is it usually increases the value. So in the case of this one, if it had a 1 after it, then the 5% attack increase would have one option to change. It would change into one thing. If it was 2, there's 2 possibilities they could change into. So, it's kind of a chance at getting better. In one case it may go to 30% attack, for example. In the other, it may go to 10%, and then it might not have another boost on it or another parenthesis, and it will be stuck there. The reason why I can't change this one is because there's no number in parentheses, which means you cannot change it. This comes into play quite a bit later, so I'm not going to get into super amounts of detail with it, but every time you attempt to do this, you will, well, I think it's not that you can fail, but you can turn it into something you don't want it to be. So in some cases, you can actually get negative results, like something that's attack plus 30% could change to attack plus 40%, or go back to attack plus 5%, which would suck, obviously. So you obviously don't want that to happen. A lot of saving comes before attempting a lot of this stuff. It also uses a crafting material with each attempt that you make at this. So at this point in time, we don't have a way of getting crafting materials or smithing materials, but we can get compounding elixirs and cooking materials. So those two we can do inventing to our heart's content. In this case, I'm not really going to worry about specified plan very much right now. It consumes a lot of money and I'm just not particularly interested in it. But I am going to show off how you basically create some items that are going to be of use to us. So for crafting, I'm looking for a value of between 130 and 142 for one item, 168 and 185 for another one, and 184 to 202 for a third. And so I'm going to hopefully find that. If I don't get it on screen soon enough, I'll cut off screen. That should be one of the ones I'm looking for. Now I will go and I will explain how the percentages work. See those icons there, you notice in the left corner there? Yeah, he has a happy face, which means you succeeded in creating that one. Now the bar goes again and you'll have a chance of creating it again. Same item. You won't be able to create multiple different items on the same line in the same, you know, instance. But I actually want more than one of these, so I'm going to let it go again. So now I have 2 of these items, and as you can see the quality drops as I've done this. I have 3 of them now, and it's only costing me a very small amount. That's 4. I would like to get 6 ideally. And there's 5. Come on, big money. And there's 6. Brooch of Footwork. This is an accessory that increases your attack and hit percentage by 10%, which is way better than anything we have, and costs me 100 and some per attempt at it. You don't always get it, but the chances of it are actually quite good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the invention info, and I can file a patent for it. Now, as you show these values, this is what determines how rare it is, how difficult it is to item creation. There's always a percentage involved in how difficult it's going to be. I'm going to skip that because I don't care. So that particular item had an item creation value of 20. Now, the difficulty of how difficult it is to make is determined by your value at the skill. So in this case, 20 crafting, 35, and 20 more. So that's 75. And in this case, I actually have the item. Let's take a look at it real quick. It's valuables. No. Where is it? Other items? Yes, it is. No, that's for compounding. That's for crafting. This adds an additional 20 points to your ability to craft something. So my total is 95. Your approximate percentage of successfully making an item through item creation at 100% quality is your total value of those, which in this case is 95, minus the rarity. There could not have been a worse possible time for that interruption. Anyway, so your percentage of making this is your approximate percentage is the total value, in this case 95, minus the rarity of the item or the value of the item at 20, so 75%. Your ability to make this with my particular setup is approximately 75%. Now, this won't be the same with all items. Some items have a very high rarity, which means I can't make them with the inventors that I currently have. There are much better inventors that we'll be able to get in time. Speaking of time, let's see, I will be able to show that in the other menu. Those time gauges actually have a value. Let's take a look at the inventors. And where is she? Stannis. Now, if you notice there on the right side, she has time minus 30%. So every time she's on a line, it will go from one end to the other 30% faster. That's awesome. The cost, the base cost, will also drop by 20%. Now, this is where it gets kind of confusing, so I'm going to try and be very straightforward with this. Every item has a base value that you get at 0 cost changing. They also have a low range and a high range that are focused around that base value. Every time a character has something like a cost reduction, or sometimes, in this case, he has additional cost, so it'll be 10% more. Basically, it changes your base value from where it was, in this case 10% higher than that, so multiply by 1.10, or in the case of Stannis, less, so multiply by 0.80. It's, you know, it still has its ranges, and there are specific values that work for it. But anyway, that's kind of the basic explanation of it. If I haven't been clear enough, let me know and I will try and explain it. Your own characters also have hidden cost values. I'm not sure if any of these particular characters do, but I think they're all hidden. They're noted in some walkthroughs that I found on GameFAQs. Anyway, so that's the basics of that. Now, there are some other items that I would like to get, though this episode is already starting to run a little bit long. But let's just see if I can get these real quick. Yeah, basically you're going to be spending a lot of time spamming the button over and over and over again. In this case, I am in the range for one of them. I only need one of these items, and it has a very low rarity, so it should be easy enough to get on the first try. The adorable kitty doll. This is required for recruiting. As an item, it sucks. Don't care for it. Let's see, we got one more. 188. No. I want to go lower than that. I need between 168 and 185. That hopefully will do it. In this case, I would like, well, ideally I could get 6 of them. But if it's looking bad, then we'll try to go with just 3. This item I probably won't use, but hopefully this is the one I want it to be, because I'm getting it quite easily here. That's 4 already. This is more of a defensive item. It's 5. Come on, big money! Bam! Feline Guardian. Again, this one has a 20% chance at breaking, though you will notice now that that one in parentheses is around that. Now, I can't particularly remember if this one loses it, because in this case, the 20% break may go down to 10% break, or it might disappear altogether. And I'll be able to remove that if I had enough crafting materials to do it. I'll consider doing it depending on if it goes away altogether or not. Mainly, the only reason I bothered to craft these was specifically for, you know, if there was a boss that I wanted to take on early, because 20% damage reduction, especially if I put 2 of these on, because you have 2 accessory slots, would be very, 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 very effective. Anyway, that's pretty much all the time I have for this episode of Let's Play Star Ocean 3. Hopefully I've explained... Joking on my own saliva there. That's great. Hopefully I've explained the item creation well enough that you can understand how the process works. If I haven't, let me know. I'll go into some more detail. I'm also going to probably record the next episode probably right away, so that explanation won't come in that episode unless I can remember it between now and when I start the next one in 5 minutes. But I'm going to go over the smithing part of the crafting here, as well as the engineering. And if I have time, we'll move into compounding, but probably not. Anyway, that's all for this one, and I'll see you guys next time.